Morning everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Asquith Sk. Today we're going to be starting out with our typical herd management tasks. That includes needling cows for our off-sync program. This just synchronizes cows and their heat cycles so that we can breed a bunch on one day. Makes it a lot easier. And we're also going to do some of the AIing as well. So first thing we're going to do, the feed wagon just pulled through. We're going to lock these head lockers here. And then we can start after a bunch of cows are locked up. So we're in the vet room here, and these are the three list of stuff that we gotta perform on cows. These two are needle, and then these ones are artificially inseminate. So the way we needle the cows depends on if there's one of us or two of us doing it. If there's one of us doing it, we always start, we go through the head lockers, and then we walk through the group. Unfortunately, there's not enough head lockers in this group for the amount of animals in here, so you always end up with some cows like this that aren't in the self lockers. That's okay. You just walk through, look for the numbers after. Usually a cow will stand nicely in the bed there and she'll let you needle her. So that works pretty good. But if there is two people, the one person just walks in front of the self lockers there, and then the other person, me usually, goes through the group and does the needling. So you can needle cows from behind or in the neck. It doesn't really matter. Usually preferably in the neck though, in that muscle tissue. I got the list on my phone here, and I just highlight when I'm done a cow. And that's how we kind of do that. Now we're marking the cows that are going to be bred. The ones that need to be bred, we just put a red marker on their udders, just like those two ladies right there. Okay, so those cows that are marked, we're gonna go find them in the barn now. We got the artificial insemination gear ready to go. We're gonna do 3 at a time. And we'll just look for those red marks cows in the barn. So that's all there is to it. Usually goes pretty quick if you're lucky. All the herd management tasks are done for this morning, so we're gonna let the ladies go. That's just doing the opposite of what we did in the start. Usually after you let the cows go after, an hour of being locked up or so, they'll crowd the water bowls pretty good. Yeah, look at that, it's snowing again. Winter never gives up without a fight, that's for sure. It's now the afternoon, and it looks like we're gonna be hauling solid manure tomorrow, starting in the corrals. So I'm gonna go hook up the Bueller Versatile to our budding manure spreader, get that thing ready to go so that we can get started a little bit quicker tomorrow. But I quickly also wanted to show you guys our drill, and the big 4-wheel drive New Holland tractor is pulled out of the shed, and it's almost ready to go, just because we want to apply some fertilizer to a field that we have. We did something a little bit different this year with one of our fields. We planted some winter rye, and this is a crop that you put in the ground in the fall, and it kind of grows a little bit, and then it's under the snow and freezes in the winter time, and then in the spring it kind of gets a head start of all the other crops that you plant in the spring usually. So we're hoping to be able to combine this and feed that winter rye at a small rate to the milk cows, and then hopefully get some straw. If we are short on feed, which it looks like we might be, then we'll also be able to silage that. It just gives us a couple more options. 160 acres is what we did, but we got the drill out here early so that we can spray some fertilizer on that rye and give it a kind of a boost, because last year it was super dry. Thought maybe we're not going to put that fertilizer to it, but now it looks like it's going to be wet. We definitely had a wetter spring than last year, we think. So we want to put some fertilizer on it, maybe get some more out of that field, and that's why we got this thing out already. That's actually what Dad's doing this afternoon. He took one of our silage trucks and he's picking up the fertilizer we're gonna put in that tank there, and then use the drill to blow it over the field. The way we use this thing to do that, typically you would get a floater, is what they call it, the machine that goes over the field and kind of spreads that solid or granular fertilizer over. But the other way to do it is just to run your drill over the field, leave these boots like 6 inches off the ground, and just blow it on top. We're not gonna pull that thing to the ground yet, but just to put that fertilizer down in that field, that's why that thing's ready to go. Of course, I would like to put our budding manure spreader on this tractor. It goes 10 to 12 kilometers an hour faster down the road. That matters when it's empty, but still you would go quicker with this tractor. But as you guys can see, she's still in a bunch of parts, so that's not the option for today. So we're gonna head over to the equipment shed and grab that Bueller Versatile. So this is it. It's about -5 degrees out today. This thing isn't plugged in, so we're gonna have to hit the glow plugs when we start it. So to do that, you just turn the ignition on, and then there's a button right here for the glow plugs. You can see that orange light goes on the dash, and what that's gonna do, it's gonna heat right up on those cylinders in the engine, kind of make it look like it was running for a bit. This takes about 30 seconds and it heats it up, and it should fire right up after that. So that orange light just went away. Pretty good. You guys remember we took that clavis off for the liquid manure tanker, which is right there. Now we got to put it back on for the solid manure spreader. Okay, so we got that thing on there. Now we're gonna go pick up that budding manure spreader. Well, there you go. We got her hooked up to the Bueller Versatile, parked it in behind the drill, just so we're close to the shop. We're gonna plug this tractor in. We've had some issues getting her started recently here. It was battery related, so we did replace those batteries, but still, it's a good idea to plug it into the wall. Perfect, now we know for sure tomorrow it's gonna start. We're gonna get milking going this afternoon, so we're gonna take all of the milk claws off of the wash trays here. Well, we finished scraping those alleys in the barn here. The beds are raked, cows are ready to go back in, except usually in the afternoon, we would hit all the beds with this bed buster here. Just scoop it up with that skid steer. It's kind of like a rotor tiller, goes through the beds and fluffs all the sand up, levels it out, makes it nice and comfortable for those cows to go lay back down in. But today we're gonna be putting sand in the beds. So instead we're gonna do one entire row. We just got the bucket in front of the skid steer. That's how we throw the sand. And then our sand room is right beside the freestall barn here. And if you guys can tell, the sand room is getting pretty empty. We probably have another 3 months left right there, if we're lucky. So gotta start to ration it a little bit maybe, but we should be able to fill this thing up again pretty soon here because it is starting to look pretty nice outside. Anyway, we'll get to throwing some sand. Okay, well, we started throwing those first couple buckets of sand. That's always a ton of weight in that bucket. So you can feel as soon as the tire's flat. This front right tire is for sure pretty flat. So we gotta fill that sucker up. Gotta check this right rear as well. It feels maybe a little bit suspect as well. So this rear tire was about 35 PSI, which is not bad because we like to have about 40 in these skid steer tires. I imagine that front one's gonna be a lot less though. So there we go, this one's at about 20 PSI, so that's way too little. Perfect. Well, we ended up getting a little bit of sand thrown there yet. Those tires kind of slow you down, but it is what it is. We'll do the rest tomorrow. You always have the next day. So now we're gonna head back to the milking parlor and finish milking here. So with the new concrete walls here with the foot bath, we put a new one-way gate here. And the cows are definitely kind of scared of it. The dad made it out of stainless steel. It's working really good, but the cows are still a little bit afraid to go through it. Maybe a little bit hesitant yet. Just something to get used to. Come on, ladies. We'll figure it out after a week or so. We're back in the milking parlor. Dima is in the barn now, scraping and then putting sand in the beds, just like we did for the first group. He's doing it now for the second group. So I figured we got a bit of time here, slow milker in the parlor. We'll explain a common question that I've seen on the YouTube channel about our milking process, and that is, why do we not use that pre-dip before we wipe the cows clean, strip them, and then hang the milker under? So if you guys have been watching the channel for a while, you know that our prepping routine is just to wipe the teats clean, strip them to make sure that there's no mastitis in the milk, and then we hang the milker under. That's what every dairy farm calls their prep routine. Every dairy farm does it different. I mean, there's probably some that do the same as us, but there's a lot that do it differently, and that's kind of what this question is about. So a lot of dairy farms, before they clean the teats and strip them to hang the milker under, they'll apply what's called a pre-dip, and that's a disinfectant to kind of get rid of some bacteria that might be on the cow's teats before she's cleaned. And we're kind of lucky here with our setup here in Saskatchewan. It's typically dry and our temperatures are usually low, so this means that we have to deal with less bacteria than a lot of other dairy farms in the world. You know, if you're in a humid, warm place, bacteria like that kind of thing, and you're gonna have to deal with a lot more bacteria, and you're gonna have to fight that off a lot more than we do here, fortunately, in Saskatchewan. Another reason is our sand bedding. That's an inorganic bedding. A lot of dairy farms are using things like straw, sawdust bedding, and that recycled, dried down manure. bacteria tends to grow in those types of bedding a lot quicker than our sand bedding, for example. And that also gives us another advantage to kind of fight the bacteria. Another contributing factor to why we can get away with that, I think, is because of our ADF milk claw here. This milk claw, if you guys know, applies that post-dip iodine, the disinfectant, to the cow's teat as soon as she's done being milked. So there's not even a second of time that goes by when her teat is not covered with a disinfectant when she's done being milked. This is usually a very high risk time for a cow's teat. You know, she just gave the milk, that teat end is a little bit open, and that's when bacteria can get up in there. But with this claw, it applies that iodine right away and fights bacteria. So that's another reason I think we can get away with that. We don't have to worry about it as much as some other guys might have to. But it is important to remember that every single load of milk in Canada, every tank is individually tested for quality. It's tested for your components, so your protein and your fat. It's tested to see if there's bacteria in there, if there's antibiotics in there. So there really is no way to get away with cutting corners, doing a bad job so that maybe you can make some extra money. There's no way to do a bad job. The tank sample doesn't lie, and that's why we do the things we do on our dairy farm. Well, we're all done chores for the day. I'm gonna quickly show you guys the finished concrete work here. You guys remember I took that concrete wall out. I said I nicked it in a video, and I got a bunch of comments saying, oh, you did more than nicking it. You guys are absolutely right. We smoked the crap out of that wall, so we had to get the concrete guys out. And when they were out here anyway, we decided to pour some concrete walls around our foot bath, and that's right here what you guys see. Dad went ahead already and put a custom built one-way gate on here. Dad built this himself. Looks pretty good. It's got the air cylinder here, and we think that's going to work a lot better than the saloon gates. There's going to be no cows pushing past this thing, and it's kind of absolute, so it's pretty nice. You can see we just filled the foot bath. We get close to the bottom, the concrete walls taper in to kind of hug the side of this foot bath completely, so it is definitely stuck in here now. If we ever had to cut that foot bath out, we would literally need to cut it into a bunch of pieces and then jackhammer it out like that. So it's stuck in there, that's for sure. But these are solid walls. Cows squeeze through it pretty nice, and this is just a lot cleaner of a setup than the fences that we had before. Another issue that we had before was maybe cows getting their feet stuck between the foot bath and the gates that we had there before, but now this is not going to be an issue for that at all anymore either. All that's left to do for this kind of foot bath area, we would like to get some stainless steel gates bolted on the ends of the concrete walls here. Just a gate there. You can see we got the temporary gate set up, and then one that comes here. Yeah, for the rest, that's done. And of course, the other concrete work that was done was this wall right here. This is the one that we hit with a skid steer, and you can see it's pretty nicely fixed. Especially from this side, it's hard to tell it was ever a different wall. It's already covered in crap and it blends in pretty good. It is a little bit lighter, but those concrete guys did a really good job fixing this up. And throughout the entire process of this wall being broken, the Lely Juno didn't skip a beat, other than when they were pouring, I guess. It was down for probably 2 days only, so the whole process was pretty smooth, went pretty easily. But that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below. Check out the Instagram @SaskDutchKid, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.